My funny Valentine. Well, good morning to a Good Morning Linux for this Saturday morning podcast. I'm in the romantic mood. Valentine's Day is coming up. Hey guys, do not forget your women. I'll beat the Linux kernels out of you if you forget. Just kidding. Happy pre-Valentine's Day for this Good Morning Linux for Saturday morning. It's been a while since I've done a Good Morning Linux on a Saturday morning, but the sun woke me up. It's warm right now, but tonight's going to be 18 degrees. The Comcast internet service has been in and out all week, so it seemed stable this morning. So I figured let me jump on before I start my day, as I am drinking no coffee this morning. I'm drinking orange Gatorade, so pardon me for 1 second. I love orange Gatorade. All right, so for this morning's brief podcast, we'll just talk about some Linux news briefly. And we'll go from there. If there is anybody in the chat who happens to be up this early morning, I am barely up, stop by and say hello. Let me check the stream here. Looks good. Audio levels look good. I don't see any buffering. So for this morning's stream, I am live streaming from Linux Mint. The latest from Linux Mint, which is fantastic dual booting with Windows 11. Which is pretty good too, actually. All right, so since the stream looks good, let me give out of this and we'll go into some Linux news. Let me go into the chat real quick for this morning's podcast. Vincenzo's in the house. Yes, almost 1 a.m. Yes, it's early. Yes, Vincenzo is in Australia. What are you doing up at 1 a.m.? You still partying there at night? My goodness. Well, good morning to you too. You're up early this morning, but a big ksh. Hey Vincenzo, a quick joke for you. What do you call 100 sheep rolling down a hill? A lamb slide. Yeah, some early morning humor. Anyway, good morning. All right, well, let's see. Let me get situated here with some articles and we'll have a little chat. All right, let me transition here. And of course, I'm using OBS. For those of you watching this, the ubiquitous OBS Studio. All right, minimize. And Zorn OS has the latest education edition. I was given a preview edition of this, a preview sneak peek of this before the Storm of the Century last weekend, and I recorded the video, and then I forgot about it. I'll have to upload it if I remember, but for all of the students and teachers out there, I did take a look at this. It is fantastic, as everything is, from Zorn OS, number 16. 21st Century Learning, educational apps for every class, teach coding and engineering. Some other features here, your old PCs made new again. If you go with the Lite Edition, bridge the learning divide, keep the class on task with classroom control, manage all of your school's computers as easily as one. Coming soon, they call this the Zorin Grid. So if you are a Windows user and are curious about Linux and want to make it as painless as possible, Zorin OS for the last 10 years now has really been fantastic. Definitely take a look at Zorin OS among a few others like Linux Mint and Ubuntu Mate. If you are curious about Linux, or as some people say Linux, You say tomato, I say tomato. Let's call the whole... Oh, never mind. Still in the Valentine's Day mood. Anyway, Zorn OS Education has been released. I did take a look at it, and it looks good. So check it out from Zorn.com. Well, for all of the Ubuntu fans out there, we have a schedule here. Looks like feature freeze for 22.04 called Jammy Jellyfish. Feature freeze February 24th, UI freeze March 17th, the beta March 31st, the kernel freeze the 7th, and the release candidate official release is April 14th. So it's coming up here in about a couple months as of this recording. This will be an LTS release. I believe this will be supported for, let's see, it's still 5 years, it looks like. So very, very good. Interesting article about Peppermint OS. Peppermint, the latest one. Peppermint Linux has lost some of its sweetness. I took a brief look at this. Admittedly, it was not a full install. I thought it was okay. Yeah, I'll let you guys decide about this. This is from techrepublic.com if you're interested. It's different. The latest Peppermint is based off of Debian and not Ubuntu. It shouldn't make that much of a difference, but that's what the article says. I guess to each his own, right? And finally, Ubuntu Mate 22.04 will include Flatpaks by support by default. I don't really use Flatpaks. Usually snaps. Snaps are enabled by support. Normally with Ubuntu based, the deb packages are fine. If for some reason something does not work out of the box, then I will install a snap. That usually solves the problem. In Linux Mint VLC, I had some issues playing DVDs. I installed the snap package of VLC, and it solved the problem. I don't go out of my way to install extra packages, but they are there if needed. And in the past, snap packages for me have been a lifesaver. They are superb Linux applications that can save a lot of time and a lot of headaches, a lot of puzzle solving, as it were. So again, Ubuntu Mate 22.04 will include Flatpak support by default. Fantastico. Time for another swig of Gatorade. All right, let me go back in the chat here. English Bob EB, how are you, my friend? It's been a while. Welcome, welcome. And EB is having lunch. Oh, that's right. You are, what, 6 hours ahead or so? Oh, that's right. Yeah, I'm having my morning Gatorade. I was too lazy to make coffee. Yes, Vince says when the algebra teacher retired, he wasn't ready for the aftermath. But boom. I strive to be family friendly. Yes. Rudy, hi Rudy, how are you? Man, my throat is sore this morning. It has to be from the furnace, the dry heat. You know, dry air and the heat, and yeah. Anyway, what's up, Quails? Welcome. How are you? Anybody else excited for the latest Ubuntu, Jammy Jellyfish? I feel like I should be in a disco, you know? Oh, wow, Rudy, you are in Africa. Very hot. Oh, wow. Okay. My goodness. It's almost beer time. Okay. Whatever can cool you down. Fantastic. Mr. Simon Rizzo is in the house. Hello. Welcome. Good morning. I bet it would be hot in Africa, Rudy. Wow. Beer time here, also in Wales. Okay. Oh, in Wales versus Scotland at rugby. Got it. Okay. All right. Got it. Nice to have everybody here. I try to do these live chats, these podcasts at different times to try to get friends in who don't normally have a chance because of time zones, and I'm glad some of you are able to pop in. If there is anybody else new who's watching, who happens to be new, wants to say hello, have a question, please ask, because that's what we're here for. Anybody else taking a look at the latest peppermint? I think it looks fine. So for Rudy, it is 4 p.m. there. Okay, good. So sometimes doing these morning chats are pretty good for some of you, which I kind of figured out. Maybe I should start my day with a glass of water and some honey for my throat. My goodness. See, I went out last night. It was, Friday night, and I was sitting at a table with four blondes, all friends of mine. Of course, I had to entertain then and telling jokes, and that's why my throat is sore. Yep. Hey, it's a dirty job, but someone's got to do it. 3 p.m. there for Mr. Rizzo. Very good. Yeah, it is currently 9 a.m. here in the state of Ohio. And yeah, we had a terrible storm last weekend, knocked out power, internet. The Comcast service has been in and out 3 times this past week. So hopefully it'll stay on a little bit for this morning. Vincenzo says, blondes? You had 4 beers? I actually had 2. Yeah, I called them. The movie Charlie's Angels. Yeah, that was me. Of course, I called them Carmine's Angels. That's my name, Carmine. So these are Carmine's Angels. Yeah, I was quote unquote stuck at a table with 4 blondes. It was awesome. Of course, they were all married, so but still, it was nice. When the moon hits your eye. Anyway, what did the farmer give his wife for Valentine's Day? Hogs and kisses. Ha ha. Sadly, I don't have a Valentine's date. Yeah. I think part of the problem is I'm a blue person living in a red state. If you know what I mean, I gotta watch what I say. So how's Nazi this morning? Another swig of orange Gatorade. Yeah. Run with the Dolphins in the house. The question is Ohio red? I didn't notice. Sure. Yeah, it is red. Yeah. I got the blues, baby. Yep. All right, well, Mr. Rizzo has a question. He says, I splitted the SSD disk partition. Is it worthy to have an installation on the same piece of hardware where I installed Windows 11. Sounds like you're trying to dual boot. I dual boot. It's okay for me. I suppose if you wanted to be safe, I would have two separate, like on my machines, I have two separate SSDs. You know, one with Windows 11 and one with Linux Mint on this one. But you can do it if you're trying to dual boot on the same SSD. If it's Ubuntu based, the automatic installer works pretty good. It's usually safe. But personally, I like to have two SSDs or two, hard disk drives. So the answer is yes, you can certainly do it. Is it the preferred method? For me, no. How is Windows 11 working out for you? For me, it's been pretty good. I can't really, can't really complain at all. Yeah, separate drives are better in case something goes wrong. It rarely does, but yeah, especially right now, SSD drives are fairly inexpensive compared to graphics cards, night and day. So yeah, I have two SSDs. Alright, so Michael says, other than the lack of its old Mint-like qualities, Peppermint is like other XFCE implementations. Yeah, which is fine. XFCE is fine. Mate is probably my favorite desktop environment. I would say XFCE is probably number 2. So yes. I'm looking at the ticker feed. It says police in Spain dismantle a SIM swapping ring that drained bank accounts. Ouch. Never, ever, never, ever, ever do banking on your phones. Period. Never. Alright, so Rudy is installing Mint alongside Pop. Ah. Interesting combo. Yes, hardware is always better than a V-Box. Yes. Alright, so Simon says, well, I can't complain about performance, but a lot of wasted resources for Windows 11. Yeah, I mean, Windows 11 is still, and this may sound strange, it's still somewhat heavy, but it performs lightly, if that makes any sense. I mean, it flies. On this Lenovo machine, it's just a dual core. It's now 11 years old, and Windows 11 flies. You would think it would not fly with the somewhat heavy RAM usage, but whatever Microsoft did for Windows 11, it absolutely zips. So yeah, I'm impressed. Yeah. And by the way, those of you who watch this or listen to this later, you can install Windows 11 on supposedly outdated hardware. Microsoft released officially on one of their blogs a hack for you to install Windows 11. That is to install it on an unsupported computer like mine. It is a registry hack. I did it twice, 2 separate machines, and it works. Now, it's not recommended, but you don't have to throw away your old machines or be forced to switch to Linux, because the computer is outdated for Windows 11. That's hogwash, at least in my case. As long as you have at least 4 gigs of RAM, preferably more for Windows 11, you can try to install Windows 11 via the hack on an supposedly outdated machine. it works. So, yeah. Hi, Spin Viking. Welcome. Yeah, Rudy says you can't beat Linux on an old machine. Generally, yes. Yeah. Especially if you have less than 4 gigs of RAM, then you could try Peppermint, Linux Lite. Michael says, wow, now we have a hacking Windows and a Hackintosh. I guess so. Yeah. Hey, whatever works, right? Look, I did not expect Windows 11 to perform on an outdated machine. I thought, I'm going to install this. I'm going to waste my time. I'll do a live show, make fun of this. And it was the opposite. Windows 11 works beautifully. I'm like, darn it, I can't make fun of Windows 11. Anyway. Yeah, I've never messed with Hackintosh personally, but yeah. Now, if you do that, speaking of Windows 11, supposedly in the future, Microsoft may refuse to provide security updates on a hacked machine. I don't think that's going to happen. Yeah, there is no way that Microsoft will allow you to install Windows 11 on a 10-year-old machine, refuse to send you the updates, so Microsoft will force you to switch to Linux. I don't see that happening, but anything is possible, right? Yeah, Windows 11 is like get the job done. Yeah, yeah. Well, Windows 11 is the best Windows since Windows 7. No drama. It just works. So, yeah. Back to Linux. Back in 2018, 2019. Linus Torvalds, during an interview, was asked about the Linux desktop, the year of the Linux desktop, or the Linux desktop for the masses. And he replied briefly that after 25, almost 30 years, he says, I think he was annoyed that we still don't have a standardized Linux platform for the masses. And the reason why it failed, it's because fragmentation. And he was pleased with the performance of Chromebooks. And I'm surprised there was no response from the Linux community. I mean, I think the silence is deafening. But that's my personal opinion. So, yeah. Yeah, some XP machines on productivity sites, yeah. Yep. Don't know what the percentage is, but yeah. But getting back to Linus Torvalds, I think that said a lot. Now, that does not mean he did not say that specific Linux distros were not successes for some of us. That's not what he said. But he says, for the mom and pop, for the masses. I think he was annoyed at the fragmentation, which makes sense. All right, so Rudy, you have an old Optiflex to run distributions, 15 years old, dual core, 4 gigs of RAM. Wow, yeah, 15 years is pushing it, but yeah, if you can get it to run, sure, yeah. Yeah, mine is 11-year-old dual core. I believe it's an AMD Athlon, if you guys want to look that up. But yeah, Windows 11 works fine on that. I mean, it's not really designed for video streaming. So right now here, streaming with Linux Mint, I can't stream in full HD. The processor will choke. So I'm streaming, you may have noticed, in 720p, and even then I have to be careful. Yeah, that's not the fault of Windows or Linux. It's just the processor just can't keep up. But the machines work. They are reliable. So, yeah, either I'll keep them or sell them or donate them. But for now, I will keep. Yes, Vince says WSL is Linux for the masses. Well, I suppose that's one way to look at it. Or you could say WSL is Linux for the mass exodus. I don't see the Windows subsystem for Linux. I don't see the Windows users getting too excited about that personally, but it is an option. AMD Phenom processors running Ubuntu is still pretty good. Yeah, On this old processor, I can install just about anything, including Windows, of course. The bottleneck, the problems occur during potentially live streaming. You can't see, but the YouTube Studio is giving me a warning about dropping keyframes. So with these machines in both Linux and Windows, I can't stream in HD. It'll just buffer. But that's okay. This is fine in 720p. So. All right, so EBU on the Peppermint right now, based, of course, Debian. Is it still okay? Do you prefer the Ubuntu based? Does it make any difference? Personally, I don't think it does. As long as I think Peppermint's using the Debian stable branch, I think, right? So I don't know. Like I said, I took a look at it. I did not install it, just a brief look, and I thought it was okay. I think you can still run Peppermint with 2 gigs, right, of RAM, if I am not mistaken. It's very good. Okay. Thanks, Bob. Yeah. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah. Michael says now you can get a 11th generation i7 16 gigs of RAM. Chromebooks are getting truly impressive. Yeah, I have a 2-in-1 convertible Chromebook. Tablet, laptop. Converts 4K screen. They are impressive. The speed is unreal. Chromebooks truly are the fastest Linux-based out there. But I can't. I wish I could. I wish I had the tools for Linux or for Chromebook streaming, like OBS Studio, video editing like Kdenlive. Those tools, as of yet, are not available for the Chromebooks. The Chromebooks are certainly capable. But the tools, the software are not there yet. The software hasn't caught up with the Chromebook, at least for content. Now I can still stream off a Chromebook without any using web-based services, such as StreamYard, or I think Zoom has a YouTube app in there built in. But yes, Michael, Chromebooks are really, truly, they are probably about as secure as you can get for a computer. Because of the what's it called, the sandboxing technology in the Chromebook, about as secure as Linux can get. Yeah, I've never ever heard of a hack or a ransomware attack on a Chromebook. I mean, zero. I'm not saying it's not possible, but I think Chromebooks represent the potential future, or the potential power of a Linux-powered system. And that's why they've been selling quite well. They're affordable, they work, They just aren't quite there yet for content creators like myself. For content consumers, they are absolutely perfect. Web-based, get on the web, turn on YouTube, watch a movie, check the news. For content creators, some Chromebooks are certainly capable, but the software is not even there yet. All right, so Dolphin says, until Google decides not to update your Chromebook, 3 years, but even if you got hit, shut down the power, start over. Yes. Yeah, I think the computer will warn you or something. You can shut down, restart, you should be good. As far as support, updating the Chromebook, the new Chromebooks, Dolphin, if they were bought, I think last year is up to 8 years support. I don't know. That's not bad. 8 years support for a machine, a Lynx-powered machine, is not bad. I think the previous models were 5 years, which still isn't bad for a $200 machine. I mean, for some people, maybe that's not good enough, and I completely get it. But as far as update or support, security support for Chromebooks, can't really complain too much. You have an Acer C720 is not being updated. Yeah, that may have been, what, a 5-year supported machine, I think. I think. Yeah. Yeah, there are limits, but really, not that I'm defending Google, but there are limits to everything. Eventually, everything becomes obsolete. Yes, they do have extremely good battery life. They are. I mean, it's even for a $200 machine. I mean, 10-hour battery? Are you kidding me? Yeah. But to get back to the Linux-powered Chromebooks, yeah, I think that's why Linus Torvalds likes them so much, because they are a global standard for Linux. I don't think it's enough. I wish we had more. I would love to walk into my Walmart or Best Buy and buy an Ubuntu machine, or a Peppermint machine, and not just a Chromebook. Yeah, they still update Chrome, but yeah, I would maybe try installing, what's it called, Neverware, Chrome OS, or wherever it's called, which I think is also owned by Google, right? If I am not mistaken. I think so. Yeah, you can check, I think there's a website to check the official expiration date for Chromebooks. Keep in mind, if you're buying a used refurbished Chromebook, the expiration date cycle starts from the day it was manufactured and not the day it was bought. For all of the people out there who want to buy a refurbished or used Chromebook, they're perfectly fine. If you buy a new one, I believe it's up to 8 years, I think. But you can go into the settings under check for updates, and I believe there's a subheading for the expiration date somewhere around there. So yeah, I mean, like, it isn't like Google's trying to be sneaky about it. It's there. So honestly, if you buy a $200 machine and in 5 years it's outdated, I mean, it was $200. I mean, come on. Forget about it. As we say in New York, forget about it. Buy another one. Donate it. So yeah. Yeah, Michael, I don't know. I don't know if Google will end Neverware. I don't know. I hope they don't. But I have no clue. So yours gives you a pop-up every single day that support has expired. Well, that could be annoying, but it's expired. So, yeah. Yeah, I don't think it should give a pop-up every single day. Maybe every week or something to remind you, but yeah. I know many people will not use or buy a Chromebook because of the so-called privacy issue. And I think when it comes to Chromebooks or anything, I think I don't equate security and privacy as the same thing. Security is protection against malware, ransomware, hacking. That's security. And I think all machines that are fully updated are secure, can be secure. Now, privacy is a different issue, such as telemetry, data mining. Well, that's the entire freaking web. It isn't just a Chromebook. So, if you really, really like yours, Dolphin, okay, fine. Chromebooks are expensive in South Africa? Really? Wow. Okay. Yeah, if you can buy a refurbished computer with a warranty, which is what I did last time with the Dell, that's going to be your best bet, even here in the States. Yeah. Good morning, Lamer. You'll quit using it when Netflix stops working. Prime already did on the Chromebook. Okay. Yeah, if it's still usable, then of course use it. So yeah. Okay, where are we at for time here? Okay, we've been on for about a half hour. All right, more. All right, let's give this a 5-minute warning, then we'll wrap it up. I need to start my morning, my day. If you missed any of this, you can replay it. Listen to this later. Welcome, Atef Wadia. I hope I said that right. Hello, how are you? Sedan Smith, hello. Hopefully Google will never offload Google Keep. What is Google Keep? Oh, Michael says you got your 95-year-old mother a Lenovo Duet 5, the newest model. Yes. Is that the one that was on sale, Michael? Yes, $399. Yes. Yeah, that is an awesome. And I think, check, that might be the 8-year support cycle. I think. Or maybe it's 6. Somewhere around there. Yeah, Lenovo machines, fantastico. ThinkPads, they really, really play very well with Linux. They really do. Fingerprint on Arch Linux with Dell Latitude. I don't mess with Arch Linux, so if anybody has an answer, I don't know. I don't use Arch Linux. I tried Arch Linux base once, and for me it was a disaster, so I gave up. Went back to Ubuntu or Debian based. Note keeping and reminder app is Google Keep. Thank you. Very good. Well, that would come in handy, yeah. Yes, Rudy, ThinkPads do have great keyboards. Yeah. I have 2 ThinkPads. Believe it or not, one originally had Windows XP that still works, and one originally had Windows 7 that still works over 10 years later. ThinkPads are like the Toyota of laptop. They just keep going, Super reliable. They're only 32 bits, so there's only a certain amount I can install on them. But yeah, very good, Michael. It's 8 years support. Yeah. Now, okay. Now here's a perfect example. You bought a fantastic machine for $399 with 8 years support. Is that a good deal? I think it is. Yeah. Is it okay on that? What fingerprint on Debian base? It should be Debian stable. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Ubuntu probably does the most testing and hardware certification when it comes to issues like fingerprint readers. Yeah. All right, so Barco Verur, sorry if I say that wrong. Fingerprint or fingerprint GUI on Arch for fingerprint reader works on your Beadlink mini PC fingerprint reader. Okay. I'm not familiar with Beadlink. Well, there you go. Looks like KDE Plasma, the latest one, has been released. If you like to play with the Plasma desktop, such as in Ubuntu, a nice looking desktop environment, Plasma. I think one of my ThinkPads has a fingerprint reader. I have never used it. Never used it. Yeah. All right. Any final questions or comments? Anybody new watching? Anybody else new? Didn't have a chance to ask a question or comment? Before we wrap this up for this Good Morning Linux, it's great to have some new people here. It's awesome. Again, if you missed any of this, you can replay this, listen to this later. I usually transcode a lot of these live shows into podcast format, and you can listen to it on your podcast app or just go to the TOS Today Patreon page. You can download the audio from there if you wish. I'm looking at the news feed. Tech bug keeps Mazda radios locked into NPR. That's funny. Anybody own Mazdas? That is funny. Wow. This other news feed that I'm seeing here says Samsung phones with parts made from fishing nets. Huh? Sounds a little fishy to me. Samsung phones with parts made from fishing nets. That's what it says. Look it up. Oh man. So Rudy, you like the GNOME desktop on your laptop? Okay, cool. Very nice. What is a CX5, Michael? OpenBox, Rudy? Yep, that's very fast, if I remember. So Vince, you heard about the fishnets? Okay. Yeah, the first I've heard of that. Yeah. So what? Those phones come with a lot of phishing apps? I don't know. That's the first I've heard of it. Yeah. I think I'll stick with my Motorola's. I think they give you the best value. Oh, right, right. The CX-5 is the crossover vehicle, Michael. Got it. Okay. Don't see too many Mazdas here where I live in Ohio. A lot of Hondas, Toyotas, trucks. Don't see too many Mazdas. Here's another headline I'm reading. U.S. nuclear power plants contain dangerous counterfeit parts. Oh man, not a good way to start the morning. Anyway, yeah, Michael. Michael says maybe it means you get a free pair of fishnet stockings. But bump. I guess so. All right, I will leave you with another Valentine's joke. You've heard this before, I think, some of you. But hey, do you have a date for Valentine's? Yes, February 14th. Psh. NPR sent out image files without extensions on their HD stream. Bricked Mazda radios. $1,500 to fix. No kidding. Wow. Huh. That has to be a first. Oh, Vince, your wife has a Mazda 3, 12 years. Had a 12 years still going strong. Nice. Wow. Cool. Anyway, I'm glad I don't have a Mazda. I would be mad if my radio was bricked. Oh, because it was an NPR. So now I know what the NPR stands for. No play radio. Bada bing. And NPR, get it? Nope. Okay, all right. Anyway, well, I think we'll wrap it up for this morning so I can start my day. And the clouds rolling in. There's nothing worse than waking up to beautiful sunshine, fairly warm. You know it's going to rain and snow later, ice. It's going to be down to like 10 degrees. I'm ready for summer. Yeah. Anyway. Okay, right. Yeah, if it's 12 years old, Vincent, the car would not have the digital radio problem with that car. See, sometimes older is better. Sometimes less technology is more freedom. Right, Vince? Less is more. Less is more. The philosophical thought for today. Less is more. And on that note, we'll wrap this up. I want to thank everybody who stopped by to say hello. Great to have you here. We will now end this Good Morning Linux podcast. I hope all of you had a good morning, good afternoon, or wherever you are. Vince, it is very early morning for you. Sleep well. And I'll catch you sometime on the next one. So for this, I'll just say arrivederci.